The weight of a future crown sits heavily on young shoulders. At just 21 years old, Princess Ingrid Alexandra of Norway finds herself caught in an impossible position, preparing to become her nation's first female monarch in over 6 centuries, while watching her family tear itself apart under the harsh glare of international scrutiny. The fairy tale has turned dark, and the princess must navigate treacherous waters that would challenge even the most seasoned royal. Born on January 21, 2004, second in line to the Norwegian throne after her father, Crown Prince Haakon, Ingrid Alexandra has lived her entire life knowing that one day she would wear the crown. But nothing in her carefully orchestrated upbringing could have prepared her for this. The unraveling of her family's reputation, the whispered allegations of preferential treatment, and the sickening realization that someone she called brother stands accused of unspeakable crimes. The princess's path to the throne had seemed so carefully mapped. She attended Oslo International School and Uranienborg School before graduating from Elvebakken Upper Secondary School in April 2023, each step designed to prepare her for sovereign duties while maintaining a semblance of normalcy. But it was her decision to enter military service that truly revealed her character. On January 17, 2024, Princess Ingrid Alexandra began 12 months of military service as a conscript at the Combat Engineer Battalion in Brigade Nord, later extending this service to 15 months and completing it on April 4, 2025. She served as a gunner on a CV-90 infantry fighting vehicle, earning her place not through royal privilege, but through sweat, discipline, and determination. Her fellow soldiers knew her simply as Private Alexandra, a young woman willing to strip away the trappings of royalty to serve alongside ordinary Norwegians. The image of her on Constitution Day 2024 remains striking, the first member of the royal family since 1959 to wear a military uniform on the palace balcony. There she stood in fatigues, watching the children's parade win through Oslo's streets, a future queen who had tasted the rigors of military life. It was a powerful statement. This was not a princess who would reign from an ivory tower. But even as she projected strength and purpose, darkness was gathering at the edges of her family's carefully maintained image. The storm that would soon break had been building for years, and its epicenter was her half-brother, Marius Borg Høiby. Marius, now 28, is the son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit from a relationship before her fairy tale marriage to Crown Prince Haakon. He grew up in the shadow of the throne, close enough to taste royal privilege, but never truly part of the succession. Perhaps that liminal space broke something in him. Perhaps the seeds of his alleged crimes were planted long before anyone noticed the warning signs. The charges, when they finally came, were devastating. Marius faces 32 criminal counts, including sexual abuse and domestic violence, with his trial scheduled from February 3rd to March 13th, 2026. The accusations include 3 counts of sexual abuse, 4 counts of sexual assault, and 2 of bodily harm, and others totaling a double-digit number of alleged victims. The details are harrowing. Police arrested Marius in November 2024 on preliminary charges of having sexual intercourse with someone who is unconscious or for other reasons is unable to resist the act. As the investigation expanded, more women came forward, their stories painting a picture of a man whose violence and violations spanned years. While Marius has denied most charges, he has pleaded guilty to 1 incident of bodily harm against his last girlfriend, criminal damage in her apartment, and making a death threat. But the scandal didn't stop with Marius. Like a crack in a dam, it spread, threatening to sweep away the entire family's credibility. Crown Princess Mette-Marit herself has been accused of warning her son about his impending arrest and of evidence tampering and witness tampering, with media claims that Marius and his family received preferential treatment from police. The implications are staggering. In a democracy, the suggestion that royalty might interfere with justice strikes at the foundation of everything the nation stands for. The image challenges everything the public thought they knew about the Norwegian royal family. Through all of this, Princess Ingrid Alexandra has watched from halfway around the world. Now studying for a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Sydney, Australia, which commenced in August 2025, with a focus on international relations and political economy, she has had to process her family's implosion while navigating a foreign country and the demands of university life. When she finally spoke publicly about the crisis to Norwegian broadcaster NRK, her pain was palpable despite her composure. Of course it's difficult. Both for those of us who are around, for me as a sister and for Mum and Dad. And of course for everyone affected by the case, she said. The words she didn't say speak volumes. How do you reconcile the brother you thought you knew with the monster he's accused of being? At her 18th birthday celebration, she had spoken lovingly of her siblings as her safety net, people she could always turn to. Now that net has disintegrated, leaving her suspended in midair, unsure of where she'll land. Crown Prince Haakon, caught between his role as father and future king, has attempted to maintain a careful balance. He stated that Marius is facing serious accusations, which the police and the judiciary will deal with. I am convinced they will do a good job, adding that, as a family and as parents, we have wanted Marius to receive help, and we have been working for a long time to get him to a place where he can receive more help. But noble sentiments cannot erase uncomfortable questions. How long had they known something was wrong? Why hadn't they intervened more forcefully? Had their wealth and position insulated Marius from consequences for too long, allowing his behavior to escalate unchecked? The crisis has become existential for the Norwegian monarchy. The case has been described in Norwegian media as one of the most extensive rape investigations in recent years, and, together with controversies surrounding the king's son-in-law Durek Verrett, has contributed to a decline in the Norwegian royal family's reputation and increased debate about the future of the monarchy in Norway. For Princess Ingrid Alexandra, this represents both threat and opportunity. She could inherit a throne so tarnished by scandal that abolition becomes inevitable. Or she could emerge as the redemptive figure, the princess who restored honor to a damaged institution through her own integrity and modern values. She seems determined to choose the latter path. In her recent interview, she emphasized that her education in Sydney, studying political economy and international relations, will definitely be relevant to her future role, noting, "I think it is important to have a basic understanding of the political system, of international relations, and how things work." These are not the words of someone preparing to preside over ceremonial functions. This is someone preparing to lead, to engage meaningfully with the complex challenges facing modern governance. Her time in Australia has also given her perspective on what she left behind. She noted that, "I have been incredibly lucky to have been so sheltered in Norway and by the Norwegian press for so many years. I have experienced some paparazzi here. There have been some situations that may seem a little uncomfortable, but fortunately, it has calmed down a lot over time." The respectful distance the Norwegian media once maintained has evaporated in the face of this scandal, but the princess understands the bargain. With royal privilege comes public scrutiny, especially when that privilege may have shielded a predator. The coming years will test her in ways that military service never could. Marius's trial in February 2026 will drag the family through months of painful testimony and revelations. Each day will bring new headlines, new accusations, new reasons for the Norwegian people to question whether they still want a monarchy at all. And through it all, Princess Ingrid Alexandra must continue building the foundation for her eventual reign. She must complete her degree, return to Norway, begin taking on more substantial royal duties, and somehow maintain her own moral clarity while her family struggles with theirs. She must show compassion for victims without taking a side against her royal family. It's an impossible tightrope to walk, and she's doing it while the world watches. One misstep, one tone-deaf comment, one perceived defense of the indefensible could doom the monarchy she's meant to inherit, yet remaining completely silent makes her seem complicit in a cover-up. The princess represents a living paradox, the future of an ancient institution, embodying both 1,000 years of tradition and the possibility of radical change. She is her father's daughter, raised in the bosom of privilege, yet she served in the military alongside ordinary Norwegians. She is Marius's sister, linked by blood and childhood memories to an accused sexual abuser, yet she must somehow stand for justice and equality. In quieter times, she might have had decades to grow into her role gradually, to make small mistakes away from the spotlight, to learn statecraft through gentle experience. But crisis has accelerated everything. At 21, an age when most people are still figuring out who they are, Princess Ingrid Alexandra must figure out not just herself, but the future of Norwegian monarchy itself. Will the weight prove to be too much, the damage too severe? Will Princess Ingrid Alexandra go down in history as the last crown princess of Norway? The woman who almost saved a monarchy, but arrived too late to undo the harm already done. Only time will tell. But as she sits in her lectures in Sydney, thousands of miles from home, one imagines her feeling the weight of that future crown pressing down even harder than before. Because now she knows the truth. Crowns are not made of gold. They're made of duty, sacrifice, and the crushing burden of other people's sins.